Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. You guys, come on in the room. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Good morning, saints. I believe it's still morning time. I don't know. Good morning. Hey, Nataki. I have some few people coming in. You guys go ahead and share this live with someone. I won't be on very, very long, but I definitely want to release this quick word. I'm trying to do a daily live for those of you that follow our ministry on the internet and through Facebook Live and through those of you who are connected with us in different cities, different states, and for us, different countries. Okay, so I have a few people that I want to release this quick word to. Again, I won't be very, very long, but I do want to. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you guys for sharing. Thank you for being so wonderful. Thank you for being so kind. See if I can get my chair a little more comfortable. All right. Share this live with somebody. Blessings, Prophetess Andrews, Elder Andrews. I love you the mostest. How are you? Good afternoon, everybody. And I hope you're sharing this with somebody. Go to the group chat. Let them know that I'm on live. I want to release this word. I had a conversation with a in our organization. Please excuse me. My phone was ringing. With a bishop who is in our organization, and he is from Liberia. And I was talking to him about the purpose of pastors and purposeful leaders. And I think that is something, oh, thank you. I think that is something that we really don't have, is leaders of purpose. And let me say this, what I'm getting ready to say, and how I'm getting ready to deliver it. Please forgive me for not coming low today. I'm not teaching a low word today. I'm not releasing a low word today. I'm talking about principle, and I'm talking about the standard of God. Now listen, trust and believe you me. You are talking to an individual who is very experienced with the history and the progressions of the church here in the 21st century. However, there are some things that we really should reconsider, especially if we're going to do it under the name of God and put the name of God on it and put the stamp of God on it. There are just some things that we as leaders, there are some things, somebody please tell Apostle Felicia I'm on live. There are some things that we are doing, some things that we are participating in, some things that we are involved in that we have to really reconsider the standard of the church. All right. I'm not sure what's going on with the little poster behind us, but hello, I got some more people coming in. Hey y'all, hey, come on in. I want the saints to come on in. I want the leaders to come on in. If you have an awesome pastor or prolific pastor, or you are a leader yourself and God is still developing you, he's still training you, whatever, I need for you to listen to this live. I need for you to share it with somebody. Now listen to this. Let me see. Have some people. Hold on, you guys. So many people are texting me at one time. Okay. I want to talk to those of us, and maybe not even just pastors, but those that are in charge of auxiliaries in the church, or you have something that you do, or something that you're called to, something that you're signed to do. All right, Apostle Felicia, I am at home. I'm on live. I just text you, and y'all interrupted my live. Praise God. But no, nevertheless, I need to say this. And I'm asking because maybe somebody can help me. Maybe you all can help give me an answer, or help bring me into divine clarity when it comes to this. However, I want to know what happened to purposeful pastors. All right. What happened to purposeful pastors? And maybe it's only going on here in North Carolina or here in Raleigh or whatever, but what happened to purposeful pastors? What happened to leaders where there was a distinction between what was clean and what was unclean? What happened to the level of obligation, sincerity, and dedication that we used to have towards the gospel? So much so that we would give of our very selves just to please God and not alter the word of God or alter the plan of God to fit people's insecurity, to fit people's struggles, or to fit people's sin. Now, I understand that we are in an hour where the message is grace, and that is grace is sufficient, and that grace and mercy is going to cover you, and that there is a grace that we use as an outlet to sin or to get over on God. So we would think. Now, let me say this. There is no escaping God. There is no getting away from God. There is no turning away from him, because the moment that you have been introduced into who God is and the truth of what God is really about, you, ma'am, you, sir, hold an obligation to the standard of righteousness and to the standard of holiness. Now, I'm not talking about what we wear, although I do believe that we as saints of God should look like saints of God. And maybe I'm a little old fashioned, or maybe I'm just a little old school when it comes to believing that we as the people of God should really be the people of God and not just advertising something that we don't have the produce of. Who am I talking to? I believe that if you're going to do what God has called you to do, if you're going to preach, if you're going to prophesy, if you're going to sing, if you're going to play instruments, whatever it is that you are doing in God's house, that there needs to be a standard as into how you should govern yourself according to that particular office. Maybe it's me, because I look around and I see that we have excuses for everything. We have excuses as into why we cannot obey leadership. We have excuses as into why we cannot pay our tithes. We have excuses as into why we cannot live right, and why we cannot treat people right, and why our heart is not clean. And I'm looking for the group of pastors that are not excited about being pastors, but you're excited because you have another opportunity to be the shepherd of a soul. I'm looking for pastors who are not so excited and holding on to this false reality or this false glimpse of hope that you're going to be this superstar preacher or this superstar pastor, and your life is still jacked to hell. You're still dealing with pride. You have not answered God. You have not heeded his warning. You have not obeyed his word. You are not following what it is that he has laid before you to do. But yet you feel that you deserve to sup and eat at the table with other leaders and other pastors who are putting in the work, who are making the sacrifice, who are building the porches and the altars. I got a problem with people like that. I have an issue with people who are demanding results from people that they have no obligations to. I have a problem with people who will preach to you and who will prophesy to you and who will try to correct you, but their lives are out of order. I have a problem with that. And maybe out of the 7 people, out of the 25 that were just on here, somebody can explain to me, how is it that we get to handle the people of God the way that we want to, and nothing is done so we think? Let me tell you something. A wise woman by the name of Apostle Maliek Winstead said this: you will reap what you sow, even if it is a late harvest. What does that mean, man of God? I'm so glad you asked. If you are sowing discord, if you are sowing pride, if you are sowing jealousy, Lord have mercy. If you are sowing confusion, if you are sowing lies, these are the things that you're going to remember in the Bible where they begin to talk about how the thorns were wrapped around the fruit and people could not enjoy their harvest. Well, I'm mighty afraid that a lot of us are dancing and shouting and we're bucking and carrying on and this, that, and the third. But truth be told, there's a lot of thorn in the harvest. And see, when there's thorns in your harvest, you cannot enjoy the fruit of your labor, because something that you sowed, some kind of seed that you put down, was corrupted and caused thorns to grow amongst the fruit. Now, what I don't understand, people of God, is that we have so many thorny leaders. Some of y'all don't even want to be pastors. Huh? Some of y'all don't even want to be leaders. You don't want to be pastors. You want to do what you want to do, and then you want to demand people to follow your lead, and there's nothing to follow. And then you get upset with people who are growing in greatness, who are grooming towards perfection, because they are following the blueprint of God, and you want to be upset with people behind closed doors and secretly jealous of them and envy them and envy their anointing when you don't have a right to. Because if you put in the work, and let me say this: everything that God does is intentional, people. Everything that he does is intentional. There is nothing that has happened in your life, in your vicinity, in your environment, in this dispensation that God did not ordain to happen or to take place in your life. See, when you put in the work, when you labor with the other laborers, when you fight with the other fighters, when you war with the other warriors, see, when harvest comes, you'll be able to celebrate harvest just because you are in the right place at the right time. But see, if you don't put in the work, then there will be no labor. And now you're wondering why you can't enjoy your fruit, because thorns have wrapped themselves around the fruit, and you can't enjoy it. You can't enjoy the fruits of your labor. You can't do what these other pastors are doing. You don't experience the favor of God that is on these other leaders because you are not in a place where you desire to put in work. Let me say this to the body of Christ: you cannot have your cake and eat it too. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know that we preach in prosperity. Y'all done got me hot. I'm just supposed to be talking. I know that we preaching prosperity. I know that we preaching grace. I know we preaching neighbor and claim it. And 2019 is your divine year of acceleration, and it's your year of divine birthing. And don't get me wrong, I believe all of that. But what I cannot agree to is the fact that there is no standard with ministry. You cannot go everywhere. You cannot do everything you want to do. And if you're going to do it, we shouldn't have to see it posted on the internet. Hello, somebody. And then we're telling people, well, people just not letting me be myself. No, people not letting you be the devil. People not letting you be demonically influenced. People are not going to let you allow yourself. Now, let me tell you something. If you got real friends in your perimeter, if you got real people that love you, they'll tell you, don't post that. Don't you say that. Take that status down. Take that picture down. That didn't look right. That pose didn't look right. Where were you? Hello, somebody. When you have real leaders, my apostle has just entered. Everybody standing. When real leaders come together, they should be able to invest into each other even when they are vulnerable. This means I should be vulnerable enough to tell you the truth, and you should be vulnerable enough to receive it from me if I'm really your friend, if I'm really the person, Lord have mercy, if I'm really the person that you say that I am to you. I should be able to tell you, you might not want to wear that. It's not that you're going to hell. It's not that God is going to sentence you to darkness and gloom, but because you are who God has called you to be, and because you have openly expressed to the world that now I am this gift of God, I am a fivefold representative, I am an apostolic bridge, then now you have to live your life under the conscious knowing of saying to yourself, I have an obligation to what's right. Oh, yeah. Now, see, I believe there's a difference between sin and evil, just like I believe there's a difference between principle and the law. Now, there's some things that the Bible talks to us about. It talks to us about fornication. It talks to us about adultery. It talks to us about perversion. It talks to us about being disobedient. These are all things that the word talks about. These are all things that the word brings into revelation. Now, there's some things that I call principle things that you have to learn, Lord have mercy, that you have to learn while you are in ministry so you don't misrepresent God. Hello, somebody. So I came to the conclusion that some of us are not desperate enough. Some of us are still consumed with what we want to do and with who we want to do it with, so much so that we would jeopardize the name of the Lord, so much so that we would jeopardize the offices in the Lord's church, so that we would jeopardize what it is that God has called us to do and how he's called us to do. Now, y'all might not like me after this live, and I know y'all are excited, and we've been coming on, and y'all just been eating me up, and everybody's been sharing, and everybody's loving me. But let me tell you this: there is a standard to holiness, and even if you're struggling, people shouldn't see that. Okay. Y'all don't want me to be real about it. Y'all don't want me to be real about it, because some leaders and pastors ain't gonna tell you that they drink wine. Some leaders and pastors ain't gonna tell you that they drink beer, or that they have side pieces, or whatever the case is. But let me tell you something. You have got to learn how to cover your investment. If you ain't walking in a season of deliverance, you better learn how to cover your investment. Hello, somebody. I'm just telling you the truth. And I know people say, well, oh my God, why would he say that? Because it's the truth. We got people that are called to ministry, people that are called to the things of God. And you really are called. You really have a purpose in God. You really have a destiny in God. Because if you didn't have a destiny, you'd died by now. But it is because God has sent forth one. And oh God. Well, and I got to get out of here. Because I'm getting worked up. I got to get out of here. God bless you to everybody that's coming on. I love you all. Now listen to this. Listen to this, because I need some help. I'm gonna take a drink because I don't understand this here. Now you are speaking to a person where I have walked in a service with red hair, red as this thing, ripped jeans on. Come on here. Have walked in a service, laid hands on cancer, commanded it to dry up. They were healed. Commanded demons to come out, and the devil came out. All right? You were talking to a person that was always in glitz and glam and all of this kind of stuff, because that's just how I used to dress at one point. Every color in the rainbow. If I wanted to wear it, I was going to put it on. Now, I had to come to a course. And this course was, you cannot be a distraction to an environment that people are supposed to be healing in. Yeah. So he had to teach me, not that you're going to hell, but for what you're doing, you're going to have to tone it down a bit. You're going to have to come out of some of this glitz. You're going to have to come out of some of this glamour. You're not going to be able to wear your hair as bright. It's not that it's a sin, but there is a standard to ministry. There is a standard to how things should be. She said she loved the red hair. And a lot of people did. But that was not my discipline. That was not where I was going. And so people will receive from you on certain platforms, but due to who we hang out with, who we associate with, sometimes the stuff that we wear, sometimes the places that people catch us in, it will close ministry doors on you. It will close doors in your face. Opportunities that were supposed to come through for you, because people will see something on you that they're not too exactly sure about, although they know God is fighting with you, he's fighting for you, and that the anointing is evident on you. We cannot lower the standard just because you have a gift or have an anointing. The standard of holiness will always be the standard of holiness. The standard of righteousness will always be the standard of righteousness. Now I want to shift from this thing, from what you're wearing in the natural to what you're wearing in the spirit. A lot of us are wearing pride. A lot of us are wearing insecurities. Who am I talking to? A lot of us are wearing things in the spirit that we need to take off. And Apostle, how can you say I'm wearing this in the spirit? That's why he said, I'm going to take off the garment of heaviness to put in now with the spirit of praise. And so what is happening is we don't have leaders who are intentional in their delivery. Because see, now everybody wants to be a part of the good old boys club and the good old girls club. And nobody wants to be different. And nobody wants to say, hey, I'm not doing that. And hey, I'm separating myself, because everybody wants to be popular. Everybody wants to build a brand and build a name and build an empire for themselves. But when you point people to the cross, he'll build you and he'll make your name great in the earth. He will establish you so that then you will be able to establish others. But because we are in the day of the superstar preacher, we're in the day of the TBN preacher, we are in the day of the Word Network preacher. And if you are not in these networks, if you're not on these cliques, if you're not in these certain groups of people, and this, that, and the third, let me tell you something. There's a lot of young leaders from North Carolina that are leading. They're doing a great job. They're doing an awesome job. They're doing an auspicious job at what it is that they've been called to do. But God has not called me to do what the pastor up the street is doing, because if he did, we would all be the same. And there is no diversity, Lord have mercy. There is no power in everything being uniform. There must be a diversity in gifts. There must be a diversity in anointings. There must be a diversity in styles. And so if everybody is looking the same, if everybody's preaching the same, if everybody's doing the same thing, nobody's really being effective. We're just being cloned. And the apostolic is not to make you a clone. The apostolic is to make you a fivefold branch of that DNA per that house or that ministry. That is what the apostolic is about. Is so that you can become a duplicate, not a clone. So people will victimize you. They will idolize you. They will put you in places. Come on here, just because you're not doing what they're doing. And see, this is why a lot of them don't like me, and this is why a lot of them can't get with me, and a lot of them can't dance and celebrate to the rhythm of my drum, because I'm not gonna get up and preach nothing co-rehearsed. I'm not gonna get up and preach nothing you want me to preach about. I'm not gonna get up and say nothing to you. And my friendship with you, my covenant with you, and my relationship with you means nothing to me when it comes to what God is speaking to me. And that's why a lot of people can't get with me, because they say, you'll flip the script on somebody. You'll tell your own sisters. You'll tell your own brothers. You'll tell your own family. Yeah, because I was God's first. And it ain't no skin off my nose because you don't agree with the truth. And the word is the truth. I don't care what you're struggling with, what you're dealing with. The standard of holiness ain't going to change. And people say, well, I'm just being me and I'm just being different. Let me ask you something. How many people have joined your church since you were just being you? How many people have just joined your church since you were so different? Because being different is fine, but being rebellious is walking in witchcraft. And you cannot walk in rebellion and say that you are a prophet of God. You, ma'am, you, sir, are the Antichrist. You, ma'am, you, sir, are the window for witchcraft that has crept in the church. And I don't give a rat's, fat's, hind parts who like me and who don't like me and who supporting me and who don't support me. I'm going to tell the truth. I brought my friends with me. Who you see now? Me. There you go. So therefore, when I was called into this thing, I didn't say yes to God because I had people with me. I was a mere reflection of what I used to be to where I am now, to where I got to go. So God is breaking spirits. God is breaking rebellion. God is breaking the seed of the enemy. That's what he's doing. You say you're outside. Are you outside to do anything in particular? Or? So we have to become people of purpose. Everything we have to do is intentional. It should be intentional. God's delivery with us was intentional. Calvary was intentional. It was intentional. It had to happen. It had to take place. Need pledge sheets. I don't have any. Assistant pastor has all of those. So I'm not moved by when crowds come and when they go. Now I'm in a season of a crowd. Then there'll be another season where you can't find nobody. I'm not moved by people, nor what they think. And until you get delivered, and this is something I've been telling my church, and I've been telling my leaders in the house. Stop taking everything so personal. You cannot have thin skin and you call to apostolic ministry. People are going to say stuff about you right in your face. But you got to eat it and walk away from it. Everybody's not out to get you. Everybody's not against you. Then there are some that are. And even in that, you have to love them. You have to embrace them, and you still got to tell them the truth, whether they want to hear it or not. See, when he called me to the kind of preaching where it was in season and out of season. I wasn't called into anything popular. I wasn't called into anything. Come on here. So we got to become people of purpose. And stop thinking that you don't need people help. And you're going to be the one that saved the day every time. And you're going to be the one that the leader applaud all the time. And you're going to be the one that people lift up and raise up. No, ma'am. And no, sir. It's not going to happen like that. God picks up and he anoints who he wants to for a season. When that season is over, you fall back in line and you go back to class. Hello. When God gets done using you, you go back to class. Now, see, the reason why we have a problem with people that are really being used by God is because we want to be the ones that's used. We want to be the ones that take the credit, and we want to be the ones to say, I did this and I did that. Well, see, that automatically disqualifies you to carry anybody's mantle. Because you want to be the one that's known for doing something. That has got to stop. Disobedience has got to stop. We need leaders. We need people that will rebuke the living hell out of us. We need people that's going to tell us the truth and people that's going to get right. And see, that's why a lot of people, they'll come in fellowship with us, but they won't sit up under us because this is not a circus. There's going to be some level of discipline. And let me tell you something. If you the highest gift that's in your perimeter, if everybody calling you for prayer and calling you for this and calling you for that, you in a low place. You should not be the highest gift around you. I'm sorry. You shouldn't be. You should not be. If people think you're the it of the crowd, you're in the wrong crowd. You got to sit amongst people where you can learn something. Because anytime you are in a place where your gift is the highest, it retards your ability to produce. It retards your ability to grow. It stagnates you. And then when you get in the circle of people who are really carrying power with God, who are really flowing in the things of God, you'll become intimidated of them if you're not careful because you're so used to being the highest gift. God bless you, Elder Etheridge. So there's a standard. I don't know what we're doing. And just because it's okay to do does not mean it's lawful. Does not mean it's principle. Come on here. Then you already got people talking about you. You shouldn't give them nothing to talk about. We shouldn't give people stuff to talk about. We ought to be tired of folks talking about us. Yeah, we gotta get in a place. We gotta get in a place, people of God, where we give up of ourselves. I like the red hair. I like the blue hair. I liked all of this stuff. I like the shiny clothes with glitz and glamour. But I had to realize that this might be a distraction. Then I realized there was some people I was taking pictures with and I was going certain places. It was incriminating my anointing. And I'm not going to do anything that's going to incriminate my anointing. I'm not going to do anything that's going to take away from my character. I'm not going to do anything that's going to take away from my position and what God has called me to do and who he's called me to do, because I am a man of God first before I'm anything else. Y'all need to start using wisdom with stuff. And then you're wondering why people don't take you seriously and why people laughing at you and why people calling you a joke and this, that, and the third. Like I said, some of y'all don't even want to be pastors. You're just holding on to it so you can be called pastor or whatever kind of foolishness you got going on. I don't know. But for those of us that are really working for people's souls, those of us that are really toiling for people's souls and living the best way that we know how to, because every day is a battle for those of us that got to deal with people. We're doing the best we can do. Come on here. You say, I want to know who these people are. Because when the devil, you got to get your name out the devil's files. You got to get your name out the devil's files. Because see, when the devil come up on you, he going to look to see, okay, who is this? Paul, I know. You get your name out the devil's files. But who are you? I don't know you. I know where they came from. I can trace back their lineage. I can trace back their anointing. I don't know who you are. We're in a day where prophets are flip-flopping. I've heard people get on the phone with me just in the last month. 2 months ago, they were saying God said this, and then they get on the phone and tell you God is saying that now, and this, that, and the third, and then some of them echoing what you say. Listen, I don't need nobody else prophesying to me about nothing crazy. If you don't have a word show enough, if God ain't sat you down in the spirit and dug your belly out, put you on the killing field, you don't have no word for the church. I'm sorry. You don't have nothing for the church. And we shouting and falling out and ain't getting it. We ain't getting it. This test was not for you to get the victory and dance. This test was for you to heed to the warning that hell is on your heels. We keep dancing about confirmation. And, oh, I got confirmation again. You should feel bad if you have to keep getting confirmations about words. Come on here. Confirmation is for babies. Direction is for seasoned saints. And if he got to keep confirming his words because you ain't got it the first time. So you don't need to be having no confirmation praise break and you fall out and dance and shouting and bucking because somebody confirmed the word. This means you didn't heed the first time. You didn't obey the first time. There is a yoke breaking anointing that has been released in the frequency of the atmosphere for the year 2019 if we would tap into what heaven is releasing. But see, you can't tap into what heaven is releasing if you're still dealing with low stuff and low people and low grades, and you're worried about whether folks like you and whether people invited you or not, or could you come to the conference and they didn't tell you nothing about it. See, that's the stuff that's going to stop you from getting your inheritance. But there is a standard. Women of God should be women of God. Men of God should be men of God. At the end of the day, ain't no middle. Ain't no picking and choosing. It's holiness of hell. You're going to do what he said to do, or you're going to die and you're going to ride in hell. It's either one of the two. Ain't no picking and choosing what you want to do. He said, now I already got a course for you. Already got a set place. Already got a place in the heavens where I'm trying to get you to. Where I'm going to take you to. But you can't tell me what I'm going to do because I'm God. You can't tell God what he's going to do with you and how he's going to do it and how long he's going to take to do it. You stick your little head out here if you want to. He got the time. He holds the records in the heavens. He holds it for what he's going to do. And leaders, we've got to be accountable one to another. So it's all in what you want to do, or how you want to do it, or how it's going to come forth, or how it's going to come out. Is Mama still outside? So that will be completely up to you of how you want to do that. It's your choice. God is a complete, perfect gentleman. He's not going to make us do anything. That's why I said, fret not yourself in any wise to do evil. It's going to be all around you, but he's not going to make us do anything, people. We have to learn law and principle. And when we do, that will be the time, that will be the day, that will be the season that we will tap into the fulfillment of everything that God has promised for us. But we'll never see that trying to hold deeds and titles to things that really don't belong to us. Because a lot of stuff that we're trying to hold on to, God is really separating us apart from. And he says, I have a bigger goal in mind. Because that's what you think. That's what you think I'm going to do. But I have something that I'm going to blow your mind with. So this is the hour that God is making us purposeful people, purposeful leaders, purposeful pastors. There must be an intention behind what it is that you've been called and assigned to do. If it is not, if you don't know why you're called, if you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, you, ma'am, you, sir, are a lost soul that are just going through the religious rhetoric of emotions. But you have to know what God has called you to do. Because you're going to come against some stuff. You're going to come against some people. You're going to come against some places and some things that don't really rock with what it is that God has assigned you to do. You're going to have to know who you are and whose you are. And your pastors and your mentors and your leaders, they're not going to be able to tell you that. That's something you have to find in the spirit. That comes through prayer. That comes through fasting. As you begin to expose yourself to him, he'll begin to open up himself to you. The worship is for him, but the word is for us. So I pray that this message has encouraged somebody to understand that there is a standard to God's word. There is a standard to ministry. Come on here. And we want to make sure that we are reaching heaven's heights, and that we mean heaven all the way. So we can't let people, places, and things stop us from the original assignment of what God called us to do. And if you allow it to stop you, you will be hindered. You will be stifled. You will be stagnated. But if you go ahead and bite the bullet and tell him, yes, Lord, he'll be able to do what it is that he wants to do in your life. There is a standard. You have to make 2019 great. It's a great year because it's already purposed and promised to be so. But if there is no labor, there will be no reward. I pray that something that I have said has blessed you. If this life has blessed you, I want you to share it with at least 5 people in their inbox, or share it 5 times on your Facebook or whatever, representing the window of grace that God is releasing us into. And this grace is not to create an excuse about anything. This is the grace that he's going to anoint you in, that he's going to season you in, so that you can accommodate the assignment that he's laid before you. I bid you Godspeed. I pray to see you all very, very, very soon. The Lord bless you today. Bye-bye.